Okay, call to order. So yeah, on the,
Notes from last time,
sorry,
did we have notes from last time?
yeah, I don't know if I distributed them though. See if I can pull them up. So what I had on the agenda for this week was, yeah, just general updates from last time. Talk about the proposal that you shared for support of the climate action planning process. And discuss the MAPC funding opportunity. Anything else we should add to that?
Nope. And I put on the ESC agenda to talk about like climate action planning and also like other outreach activities we can do. Like mentioned before, kind of like open up people's homes to showing different solutions. So just FYI. That's like the only discussion I have on there.
Okay.
I figured like since we're meeting today, we can hopefully bring something back for discussion Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, I think to me, the main next step feels like just deciding how and whether to move ahead with a more complete climate action planning process, so that obviously part of what we can talk about today. And so maybe just get some input or feedback from the rest of the committee on Thursday about that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I don't have too many updates really from last time we met, other than having submitted the interest form for the MAPC funding opportunity that you came up with or found. So I didn't know other kind of follow-up based off of that, other than that interest form's been submitted. It seems like more details on the program will be forthcoming.
Yep. Yeah, I can't find any notes from last meeting. Do we have notes from last meeting?
Yeah, I just pulled up what I had jotted down from last time. Do you want me to email them to you?
Sure. So as far as just looking at the notes, contacting MAPC, I mean, filling out that form seems like I didn't contact them. I don't know who was supposed to do that, but it seems like filling filling out that form was a good first step in trying to understand what MAPC can do.
Yep. Did we have any other like specific questions for them on that at this point? They have a contact for questions that we can ask.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if there's anything besides what they mentioned in that form, if there's anything else they can help us with.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just send a follow-up note then to the contact information they give there. See if there's any other info that they have that they can share about the program and or just like support in general.
And then, so I talked to Kim, obviously, and she told me that the MVP grants are hard to get. And that was also, so I did join, there was a municipal climate planning call for that Sierra Club put on last month, so I joined that. And they also said that that MVP grant is difficult to get.
Which grant is that?
The municipal vulnerability preparedness.
Oh, the MVP. Oh, I think they said MEP.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But
Um,
I thought we already did the MVP.
so there's like a MVP 2.0
Oh,
grant. Which is closed for applications at this point anyways, but beyond municipalities who achieve MVP community status. MVP program, that's 10 core principles. Yeah, so it's just related to climate adaptation actions.
okay.
Other than that grant, Kim mentioned something about Executive Office of Environmental Affairs Technical Assistance Grant, which I looked into, and I don't think it'd be applicable for us.
Did she say that she's worked with municipalities that have gotten that?
No, she just like mentioned it as like another grant option that could maybe work, but I don't think it does. And then she sent along her proposal for the accelerated service offering, since that's like the fastest, cheapest option they have.
Did she mention anything about working under like other MAPC funding rounds or anything like that? Like, I guess what I'm trying to figure out is if the MAPC grant would be something where we could get funding to apply to do, use that service, or is it they're just directly providing some technical support and service, which we don't really know yet, but
I mean, from what I read on that form, it looked like it was related to like looking at proposals from consultants or like helping us narrow down proposals. And
oh yeah, just like the scoping preparation.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, like community workshops and stuff, which is included in Kim's proposal. Than like drafting a scope of work. So it's more like on the planning than actually the doing of plan.
Right.
I mean, the other one is the net zero emissions plan for municipal buildings, but that kind of goes along with green communities, in my opinion. Which I think we already like had a plan when we submitted that application.
Right. The other one I thought was interesting was, where is it?
And then establishing emissions baseline, which we already have. I mean, and not for municipal, well, I guess ours includes municipal broken out.
Right. So that you're talking about the green communities,
No, our emissions inventory.
right? But you were saying there was a different opportunity that you thought would be more related to the
Yeah, just looking at the MAPC net zero planning options. So one is the municipal buildings
Right.
modernization roadmap, and the second is the community planning.
Yeah.
So I feel like we have the first one pretty much covered.
Yeah, the other one I thought that was kind of interesting was like the establish and facilitate a working group for municipal energy and sustainability staff. I mean, I don't know. I think that is probably, like you said, sort of being handled already a bit under the green communities and related energy projects and work surrounding that. Maybe Julie would know a bit more there. But just having that standing, or having the services to facilitate that working group, I could see as being potentially valuable, but I didn't really know enough about what's going on with those projects to be able to say whether we would need that.
Are you talking about the working group for municipal energy sustainability staff?
Yeah.
We don't have any sustainability staff, and municipal is just the light department.
Well, but whoever's running the energy efficiency projects that came out of the green communities process that Julie's updated us on.
Yeah, I think it's actually DPW that may be running that.
Yeah.
I for some reason, I don't know exactly why, because they don't do energy. They just operate the buildings.
Yeah, they're like facilities and
Operate the
operations
buildings.
for the buildings.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the way that that's written, I mean, it could be anything, it could be, I mean, you're right, we don't have sustainability staff to like participate in that, but it could be useful, but maybe we're not really prepared to take that on. I didn't actually end up selecting it anyway. Submitted the form, not that that would necessarily rule it out, but
Yeah.
that one kind of looked interesting. So yeah, so what else in terms of the KLA proposal or conversation that you had?
She recommended like looking at what other towns have been doing. She said Danvers is someone they recently worked with. And something about having meetings with DPW and the light department, because our focus will be on buildings and energy.
Mhm.
I mean, I think the biggest thing is like we need somebody on town staff to manage the project.
Mhm.
I think that's our biggest hurdle. And also, obviously, to have the town's buy-in. I mean, considering I didn't get any comments when I presented it to town council and Steve Mayo, I think there's a lot of work to be done there.
Mhm. Yeah, so we were talking last time about more of that, like education, and I think to me, some of that benchmarking and comparison is sort of what can help tell the story, and and provide that context for why we should be doing more. So maybe this MAPC, which is sort of like a preparation for a larger planning process, would be an opportunity to do some of that outreach education, gather baseline materials and get the scope of work defined. Presumably it would come with some funding. So you think maybe leaning that direction versus trying to get this accelerated climate action roadmap started?
I mean, I think just having that MAPC assistance is not going to be enough to get a plan done.
Right, not to get a plan done, but to prepare to do that and to maybe position ourselves better to
for sure
request
funding
and get buy-in from the folks we need.
But that, I mean, what is that? It wouldn't start until next year.
Okay.
So what do we do from now until then? Assuming that we would get that grant, which I don't know what the criteria is. Community interest. Yeah, grant program is competitive. All applicants may not be accommodated. MAPC will follow up with municipalities individually to clarify or discuss specific tasks. So no guarantee we're going to get this.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm all in favor of getting started instead of waiting and then spending more time to plan to get started.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna wait like 6 months and then we're gonna wait another year probably. So,
Yeah, I mean, I like the fact that this is an accelerated process, and so who do you think we need to convince that we should do this?
I mean, I think we should discuss this in our call on Thursday, and I think Julie's the best person to help us answer that question.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, if you look at the proposal on page. It says something about like having a go-to person that works for the town, basically. I don't remember where it said that, but I mean, it does mention like our group. It says identification, one primary point of contact that is available during the typical workday. Yeah, if you just look at the town's role, it needs somebody like
Yeah,
focused on this. I mean, especially like, gathering all the upfront data and stuff.
yeah, that itself's a pretty significant task.
Yeah.
Um, so that's a good point that we need to figure that out.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at like the project management part, which is like the last part, it says, identify one primary point of contact.
Yeah. So task 4, let's talk.
That's ideally a full-time town staff member.
That's under task 5.
Yeah, it's the first paragraph, last sentence.
Yeah. And then in task 4, there's the advisory group. Key stakeholders. So we have to kind of start thinking who should be there too.
Yeah, I think that's would be pretty straightforward for us because we have, we work with all these people already. Probably the only thing would be like local businesses.
Okay, well, I think that would be a good thing to discuss on Thursday as well.
What's that? The stakeholders?
The trying to identify and recruit a point person.
Yeah. I may try to text Julie and see if she can read this proposal before our meeting. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure like what our options are besides working with a consultant like that. And the MAPC assistance, which is, I mean, we should definitely talk to them about like other things they can provide us besides that
Yeah.
technical assistance grant. So I think that's probably the next step.
Okay.
So you want me to do that, or you want to do that?
I'll reach out.
Okay.
Following up on the interest form, said a couple questions on that, and then we can also just see more generally what else they might be able to help us with.
Yeah, if you could CC me on the email.
Yep.
too. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what our any other. I mean, we can continue to search for grants, but again, we need somebody within the town, I think. I mean, unless we want to try to create a plan ourselves. I know other towns that have had committees do that.
Yeah, we had a couple examples on that. Right?
Yeah, I think Wayland did that.
Yeah.
But they had, I think, their like whole committee working on it.
Yeah.
They're, I think, mostly all consultants, anyways.
Yeah, I actually know one of the members of that committee.
Yeah, I know Ellen.
Okay. And I tend to think we would benefit from some help
Yeah,
organizing the process and doing some of the legwork.
yep.
Do you know if there would end up being a requirement to issue an RFP or at least solicit multiple proposals?
Yeah, probably. That's probably something we should bring up. Are you taking notes or?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, that's probably something we should bring up on Thursday.
Okay. As far as putting an RFP together, I feel like we could do that. I think we definitely need our town staff sponsor to be involved. Obviously, before that were to go out.
I know that Westboro was another town that did their own climate plan with no help.
Hmm.
They had like a task force. This is based on that Sierra Club call. So they went to town meeting to get the task force approved.
Hmm. One thing that would be interesting to do is to look not just for some other plans that are out there, but just any recent RFPs that other towns have used, just see what kind of language they're putting in there and see what we can learn from that. I've come across a few, but just finding a couple recent examples might be good, including Danvers. If KLA mentioned that town.
Local Energy Action Program. Your MIPC. Search. We don't have a chat in here, huh? That's too bad. Here, let me put it in the email that you just sent. This was something mentioned in that Sierra Club called the it's called LEAP, Local Energy Action Program. Looks like Melrose participated in it. It looks similar to what they had in their technical assistance options that we filled in.
Melrose Saugus.
Yeah, we should definitely reach out to them. Net zero action plan. Check out municipal net zero playbook. Yeah, this municipal net zero playbook would probably be helpful for us. Provides guidance and tools to equip cities and towns with resources to tackle their climate goals. But we don't have goals set yet, but. There's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, this, I haven't gone through this,
Yeah, I hadn't like dug in deep on this either.
I think we must have, I think that one of these pages is where we got the, inventory,
Yeah,
right? But yeah, I didn't end up getting into all this other content, so this might be good to study up on a little bit.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot to go through, but I think we should definitely contact either the Clean Energy Department or Clean Energy and Climate Systems Manager. There's contact on the page.
Yeah, look at, they have right in here, they have adopt a building energy and disclosure policy.
Yeah, it says, so they worked with Arlington, Melrose, and Natick to develop their inventories, and then they drafted a net zero plan for each community.
Yeah. So it's, so the contact they have here is Megan.
Yeah.
Ackey. Is that someone you've been in touch with before?
No.
Okay.
Because who did we talk to? We were just talking to like data people before, I think.
Yeah. Seems like that person would be good to reach out to. Can we see if we can set up a call or meeting with her?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think we just kind of need to like tell her our situation.
Yeah.
What we want to do, what they can offer us. Okay, so this project primarily supported by planning assistance grant from EOEA. Request for proposals for fiscal year 24 round has been issued. Okay, we missed that one. Oh, land use practices. Okay. No, I was just seeing that. On the page, planning for net zero by 2050. When they talk about those 3 towns, they say this project was primarily supported by a planning assistance grant from the OEA. So that's how they did that. That's how they were funded with to do that work.
All of that, like planning for net zero
Yeah.
work. Okay.
Yeah, and I just clicked on the link for the planning assistance grants. And it says request for proposals for fiscal year 24 round. It was due at the end of May. Anyways, yeah, I think we should definitely touch base with Megan. I'm sure they know about all the grants that are available.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe just like email her and tell her our situation and then offer to set up a call.
Yeah, that'd be great. I think it'd be good to just get a half an hour with it. Good. Okay. You know, just starting to see what else we could find for other town RFPs. If they're still accessible.
Yeah, I mean, maybe MAPC has like a template or something.
Yeah.
I feel like they're our best bet.
Yeah, definitely for now.
To help guide us a little bit, since this is their bread and butter, helping municipalities on this stuff.
Yeah. So just to take a side track here for a second, but the building emissions reporting and disclosure policy. I don't think we've talked about that too much, but what are your thoughts on that?
What is it exactly?
So like Boston and Cambridge and some other towns are requiring buildings over a certain size to report all their energy usage and emissions. And in Boston, it started with just the reporting and disclosure, but then what they're starting to implement now or soon are the like emissions intensity limits, so basically putting a cap on the amount of emissions a building can emit. And there's like a whole policy.
Commercial or
What's that?
Is it commercial or residential or?
Well, it's for buildings over any size. So, it's meant to target the, largest, majority of emissions from buildings in the city or in the town. Now, just noticing on this playbook thing, it says that the setting this building size threshold. There's an example of a town in Colorado that's done it as small as 5,000 square feet. In Boston, it's 20,000 square feet, I think 20-25. So it's meant for larger buildings that use more energy. But so I mean, we don't have probably actually I have to go back and look at data we have from our inventory if we had it broken down that way, but it feels like there's probably a pretty high proportion is residential, so small buildings, which we wouldn't probably want to target, but
And that's for existing?
yeah, all buildings. Yep. Yeah.
And what is like, what if they don't reduce their emissions? What's the process?
So in Boston and some other towns are following suit, but they basically, there's fines for not reporting, and then if you haven't taken action to reduce your emissions below what the performance standards set you at, then they have what they call alternative compliance payments, basically paying a certain, it's $234 per ton, metric ton of CO2 equivalent, to get yourself down below that level. And it declines over time, so it's 0 by 2050, but it's like 5-year blocks starting in 2025. So
sounds similar to RPS. Yeah, you said there's other places that are doing that besides Boston?
yeah, so Cambridge is developing theirs. They have the reporting and disclosure part already in place. I know Newton is going for it as well. I don't think theirs is all fully passed. I think I heard Chelsea. And in the state bill that was like the act driving clean energy and something, the one from last year that was passed, that included provisions for setting up the reporting and disclosure, but at the state level. So that could be coming in the next couple of years anyway. I didn't go so far as to talk about the emissions intensity limits or building performance standard aspect of it, but it feels like that's the precursor. But yeah, there's some towns that are trying to get out ahead of that. With our building portfolio, in the town, we'd have to probably research a little more whether how effective that would be, or whether it would make sense, and what the impact would be. But
so when we in the waste subcommittee, when we're looking at to bring recycling to units of 4 or more, Tiana got a bunch of information from the town about like which buildings that would be, so I think we could probably get that information pretty easily. But I think we should definitely bring this topic up on Thursday, see what everybody thinks.
yeah,
I mean, I think the only thing would be like, who would kind of run that whole thing in town?
yeah, right.
Goes back to that.
Yeah, what kind of support resources are needed, and how do you fund that operation? I think that's a good question.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably something the utility would probably manage. And they,
Yeah, and what Wellesley, Wellesley that's doing it. Well, Newton's doing it. You know, what like in Boston, they've the utility providers have basically set up their systems to help enable people to actually be able to do this. So you can submit requests like aggregate data, because sometimes people own the building, but they don't own all the utility accounts, so they're not, you know, they're not on all of the different utility accounts, so they have subtenants. So you have to be able to collect all that information and get it entered into the reporting platform and send it to the city and everything. So but you know, this is happening other places around the country too. So a lot of towns are using the Energy Star Portfolio Manager, which is like a system that for tracking energy information, and they do the Energy Star scoring and that kind of thing. And that part of it is free to use, but yeah, there'd be a lot of questions to be answered there or figured out.
I mean, I think the utility would have a lot of that data anyways.
Yeah, that's true.
The only thing they would have to set up. I think they have some sort of tool for emissions already. Maybe they don't have a tool, but I know that they have like a way that they calculate them. Yeah, I mean, that's something we should bring up on Thursday and ask Tom about.
Yeah, it's actually interesting. The purpose is just to report and disclose the data. Like you said, the gas and light already have it all. So is it just a matter of disclosing it?
Right.
Basically have it all. I mean, there's other information.
So yeah, what information are they reporting?
Well, so there's other like questions that get answered and submitted about the properties, like whether you have any on-site generation. EV charging gets treated differently. Generator use, I don't know if they exclude it necessarily, but they're collecting information on generator use for fuels. And actually, as we discovered with our inventory, there's a pretty large amount of oil use in the town, so that would leave out, you know, we wouldn't have that information.
Yeah. Right, so we would only have the gas and electric information.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think the utility would have the bulk of the information already, I would assume, and then self-reporting the rest.
Right.
So is that, I feel like that's something we'd have to go to town meeting for.
Probably. I also think it's probably worth
Thing that like the city councils passed, or what was the process for that?
I don't know. I suppose we should research that a little bit more. Be interesting to talk to someone there too about how they decided to do it and how they're going to manage it.
Mm-hmm.
So here it says, this is for Newton, in the early stages of developing an ordinance. City Council passed a resolution in support of it April of last year. So they've still got some work to do, but yeah, I think it might be worth looking at like here they talk about large NRB and residential buildings, you know, there's sort of there being this small subset of buildings that account for a large proportion of the total emissions from buildings. And maybe we would be able to look some more at some of the data we have access to determine whether that's true for us too. And is this kind of worth something, you know, is this worth pushing for us?
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see if there's other towns, not cities, that are going to.
Yeah.
Like maybe Brookline. Would be one. What is it called again?
Berdo, BERDO.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't mean to get us too far down that rabbit hole, but
Yeah, I mean, it's another option, right?
yeah.
So next steps are you're gonna contact MAPC.
Yep.
See if we can set up a call with them.
Yep.
We're gonna talk about all this stuff at the meeting on Thursday. See what everybody thinks. Including like, how do we get the town's buy-in for doing something like this?
Yeah, I think that's key. So that'd be a good thing to discuss. And the other thing was, if you want to touch on it, but we were talking just more about other outreach and communication and like education.
Yeah.
Things to try to do. I mean, I feel like a lot of that will come with some more of the planning process, where there's like some opportunities to collect information that can be shared outwardly, and you know, understand what tactics work well for that, and that kind of thing. But that was another topic.
Yeah, I think yeah, one thing I wanted to bring up on Thursday was the idea of like opening up people's houses to like share with their neighbors, or anybody who's interested in like going solar or getting an EV or heat pumps or just, you know, having a way of like making people feel like it's an easier thing for them to do, getting more information about it, seeing their neighbors doing it, and it could be, you know, a good way to meet people and network and all that. So
Yeah.
talk about possibilities of doing that.
So what would that be, like a particular day where it's sort of like an event, sort of like an event like across the town kind of around that, or
Yeah.
yeah.
Or, you know, we could break it up and do, you know, kind of one house at a time,
Mm-hmm.
or we could break it up by like category and have like a couple houses, you know, depending on, you know, kind of spread it around town. Like if there's, you know, a house on the west side, one on the other side that has solar, you know, kind of do like a solar open house, or, you know, then the next time do a heat pump open house, or we could do it all in one day, you know.
Yeah.
Depending on the interest and people's availability and openness to the whole thing.
Yeah. Almost could be like a spin on like the Porch Fest concept. Yeah.
Not as fun.
We could try to get some music, but you know, it's like there's like designated locations and people are free to just kind of
Right.
move around, right? It'd be good, nice if it was walkable, like a Porch Fest kind of thing, you know.
Yeah, I think that'd be a little tough to do, but
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea. So yeah, I like I agree with your thought process there about just sort of things that would make allow people to like see their neighbors doing something, or almost, you know, making certain things more conspicuous, like, you know, having that EV license plate, or you know, the solar panels, sometimes you can see them but sometimes you can't, and other stuff inside the house you can't always see. So
yeah.
is there anything else to like bring it out, make it more visible?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know that like I feel like Representative Lippert-Garabedian tried to have like a forum on this type of thing, but it was all online. I feel like it would be better to do in person and to see these things in person,
Mhm.
and then have a way to like, you know, meet people and talk and get off your computer.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we have a lot to talk about on Thursday, and get everybody's thoughts on, and yeah, so I think that's probably our next step, just talking in the meeting on Thursday and also contacting MAPC and talking to them.
Sounds good.
All right. I don't know if you want to you could probably send these notes from the last meeting. I'll say I approve them right now.
Yes. Okay. Okay, I will do that.
Yeah. All
All
right.
right. Very good. Motion to adjourn.
second. All
All right, sounds good. I'll see you on Thursday.
right, have a good night.
You too. Good night.
Bye.